Hey guys, how you doing? Ron here with TechTipsToGo. So in today's video, we got some great news for Vechain. I know a couple of you guys were looking at my tweets last night about sharing, and I'll get more into sharing later, but got a lot of questions about where to buy it. So right now, you should buy it on Bitmart. Bitmart has the most volume. If you go to Binance Dex, the volume isn't as high. So the majority of the tokens are on Bitmart. So you probably want to go to there. You're going to need BTC. Just do a transfer, simple. Transfer to Bitmart and then buy SHR through Bitcoin, through that pair. So anyways, great news for Vechain, guys. The news doesn't stop, right? And you could see it right here. 1 week or 1 day we're actually talking about medical. The next day we're talking about gas. The next day we're talking about this. And now we're talking about more kind of agriculture and food and farming, right? We saw producers market, and this comes out, and I did a translate on this on the tweet, and I'll get more into the video with what this company does. So basically, I guess they supply wholesalers and retailers, I think mostly wholesalers, with fresh products like tomatoes, vegetables, etc. in Italy. And on this tweet, and it was retweeted by DNVGL, I think, in Italy. And what they mentioned, it says here, the history of pomodoro from the field to the manufacturing plant on blockchain. La Fiammante enters My Story DNVGL and continues with new tools, its path of data sharing with all players in the supply chain. So I'm going to go to their website, and I did some translations, but you could look at the product and everything. It has the My Story DNVGL, which we're all familiar and aware of. So and I highlighted some key points here. So it says that they entered a story, My Story DNVGL, with a pilot project, the digital assurance solution based on blockchain technology, to narrate the story of the product step by step in a transparent and immediate way. ICAB La Famita continues today with new tools, its path of sharing data, good practices, production choices with all actors in the supply chain, from farmers to consumer. And just down below here, it says they chose DNVGL's My Story, one of the main certification bodies worldwide that is guiding the development of the sector through the implementation of new digital assurance solutions based on blockchain technology, to share the history of their products with consumers, making available, verified, and recorded data on the blockchain. My Story is based on the Vechain public blockchain, with DNVGL has entered into a strategic partnership. So guys, more bullish news. And like I said, the news doesn't stop. Like with Vechain's army out there, consultants, PwC, Deloitte, DNVGL, right? They keep signing more and more, right? And with my latest piece of news with producers market and agriculture, and kind of working with regions on different area in the United States in farming, is going to be massive. And then this comes out, guys. So I'm going to play a couple of clips from their website so you can get a feel of possible blockchains transactions. That's going to be on the mainnet based on the product line that they have. So let's watch this. bullish. Guy, I like it. I'm loving it. The reason why I'm liking this so much is because that relationship with DNVGL and VeChain, right? So going forward in all these partnerships and everything, you know, not to say, like, I've heard some comments on Reddit where saying, you know, if DNVGL or PwC wasn't in it, I wouldn't have invested into VeChain. But it's good that we do have DNVGL, right? Because DNVGL, the reason why I like them so much, or this relationship and this partnership that they've invested into VeChain, is because they have that certification, trust, and authority, right? Like, who else has that much credibility globally? So this is what makes everything so great in terms of that partnership, especially when they came out with that news about like having 900,000 digital assurance wallets, right? Because I'm going to give you a story. So like I mentioned in my other story, I sold my restaurant, and that restaurant was a Pan-Asian Mexican restaurant. So it was a mix between like Asian and Mexican. It was a unique twist in Toronto. And so we used one main ingredient, which is called guajillo peppers. So if you're Mexican and you know al pastor, the main ingredient to make that sauce is called guajillo peppers, right? They're like dried chilies. Anyways, so we needed to cut costs because in a restaurant, you don't make that much money. Your margins are very slim. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I got out of the restaurant and sold it. I needed to find out, basically, out of all my businesses, where am I making the most money? Right, so I had a choice, and this was that was on my project, where we were going to source the guajillo peppers. I had two choices, one in Chicago, and one in China. Right? Okay, so the difference is, China were manufactured in China, and not in an outdoor growing field or plant. It was kind of like in one of those self-contained units that had its own temperature, kind of like a grow up, right? You know, if you're talking about cannabis, right? You self-grow the plants, the seeds, etc., right? Not homegrown, kind of outdoor fresh. So the plant in Chicago, they got it wholesale directly from Mexico, and on the box it said, you know, directly from Mexico or homegrown. I forgot. Like, I wish I had a picture of the box. Actually, I do have a picture, and I'll show it later. But anyways, I'll probably show it in my tweet. But anyways, that was a difference, right? But how do you know, like in the restaurant, if these are like true Mexican al pastor guajillo peppers, or it's just, you know, powder that you got from like wherever, right? Maybe it was from some overseas country, right? So anyways, but this is the great thing. I'm kind of relating it to that, and I like this because they're kind of telling that story, and going further, I can see, you know, we can see just like the potential, the future of trust in my story, you know, in agriculture, farming, fish, seafood, etc. So anyways, I'm going to keep it at that. Got to get back to the daily grind and checking some other stuff. So in my next video, I'm going to just go over some, like, or maybe not in my next video, I'm going to go over like a lot of Q&A that you guys had. As my channel grows, I'm just getting a lot of questions that relating to different companies or tokens like sharing, VeChain, VTHO, buy on here, etc. So like I said, ask the questions below, and then I'd like to do a Q&A. It's called like cryptocurrency Q&A part 1, part 2, part 3. I answer all your questions, so just ask the questions, whether it's tax related. There's a couple of questions about being in Canada and taxes, so I'm going to answer that and all the other questions that you guys had. So anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you again for subscribing. Please comment, subscribe, and I'll see you probably either today or tomorrow.